Hi everybody, welcome to Pick 6 2011. My name is Adam Brody, I'll be your host this week. Our host from last year, Rishi, he graduated, but his brother will be filling in next week and he'll be the host for the rest of the year most likely. Anyways, I'd like to introduce today's panel for you.
My name is Sarath. You probably remember me from last year. If you don't, too bad, you will soon.
I'm Mike Manning. I'm the new guy of the group here.
Hi, I'm Marshall. I guess I'm the veteran now, so I gotta show these youngsters how it's done.
Well, we can't pick the Green Bay-New Orleans game because we're filming the show after it happened. It took place, a big win for Green Bay, but the first game we're going to start with Atlanta versus Chicago. What do you guys think?
For the first pick of the show, I'm going to go with the Falcons this year. Everybody's down on the Bears. Everybody's down. They won 12 games, got a bye, and no one's expecting anything from them. And frankly, neither do I. I think that team's just a mess. The Falcons won 13 games, number one seed last year. They made improvements. I like where they're headed. I like Matt Ryan a lot. I think this week, against the Bears, they get it done.
I'm going to have to also go with the Falcons on this one over the Bears. Jay Cutler cannot handle the ball. The Falcons added explosiveness on offense. They added a pass rush on defense. It's just going to be hard to stop them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make it a clean sweep for the Falcons here. Chicago may have gone to the NFC Championship game last year, but they've only gotten worse over the offseason. They lost their center, and so their offensive line is even weaker now. And they already have some dissension in the ranks. They have some guys who are not happy with their contracts. That just makes it worse. Meanwhile, Atlanta only got better over the offseason. They had Julio Jones, who will be a big play threat for them. I just can't see Chicago pulling this one out. Atlanta big.
All right, next game up, we have Detroit at Tampa Bay. Battle of the 09 quarterback draft class. We have Matthew Stafford versus Josh Freeman. Who do you guys think is going to have the upper hand in this one?
Well, as you can tell by my shirt, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Bucks this week. I like the Lions this year, but I like the Josh Freeman, LeGarrette Blount, Mike Williams trio just a little bit more. I think the Lions will make the playoffs, but I think the Bucks will also do the same thing this year. I think at home, I like Josh Freeman just a little bit more than Matthew Stafford this week. Give me the Bucks.
I'm going to have to go with the Lions on this one. I think the offense is incredible. You got Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, Javid Best if he can stay healthy in the game, and I'm terrified of Ndamukong Suh. He's going to just throw Freeman around no matter how big he is.
Well, this one's a really tough one for me to pick. Both these teams are young and promising. They've got both young and upcoming quarterbacks. But in this one, I'm going to have to take Tampa Bay. Detroit looks really good. Their defensive line looks great. But I just think Tampa Bay, coming off that season last year where they went 10-6, they got some experience under their belt, I think they're going to be a little bit more ready for this game.
Next up, we have the big-time physical AFC North matchup, Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a slugfest for sure, probably low scoring, defensive struggle. Who do you think is going to come out on top on that one?
Well, it's actually pretty incredible to think, but the Ravens have not beaten Ben Roethlisberger when he started since 2006, when you consider all the games they've played. At some point, that streak has to come to an end. The Steelers can't keep relying on Flacco to just turn the ball over, throw the ball away every time in the fourth quarter. I think this is the time that happens this week. I think the Ravens at home, this game means much more to them than it means for the Steelers. They really have to get over this mental hurdle of beating the Steelers at some point. I think this is the week they do it. I think the Steelers, I don't want to say they can afford to lose this week one game, but they'll be ready later on in the year. I think the Ravens will take this one.
I have to go with the Steelers. It's just too much for them. Big Ben just always will find a way to win. You got Sanders and Brown are going to just tear it up even more this year than they did last year. And by far, I think the defense is better than the Ravens. The Ravens didn't do enough. They lost some. They gained a little. But I don't think that they have the mental edge over the Steelers yet.
Well, thankfully, I don't have to agree with every pick with Simrath this week because I'm going to take the Steelers on this one. Baltimore did try and make some improvements over the offseason. They added Lee Evans, but they also lost Todd Heap. They lost Derek Mason. That's going to hurt them on offense. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh looked great in the preseason. I know the preseason doesn't mean that much, but they showed they can run the ball. They showed they can throw the ball. I think there's going to be too much for Baltimore to handle this week.
Moving on, we have an AFC South matchup, Indianapolis at Houston. Indianapolis without Peyton Manning for an extended period of time. Kerry Collins starting for them. I don't know what the panel thinks. Personally, I don't think Kerry Collins would be that great for him, but we'll see what these guys have to say about it.
Well, you're right. Kerry Collins is not very good. There's a reason no one wanted him until the Colts knew Manning wasn't going to be out there. This same game that happened week one last year, Arian Foster, of course, ran for 230 yards, kicked off his fantasy MVP type season last year. I think this year, again, the Texans will run over all the Colts. This year, Arian Foster probably won't play. It'll be Derek Ward's turn to play, and I think he'll do fine as well. I don't think the Colts can keep up with the Texans' offense, which is still pretty good with Andre Johnson and Matt Schaub.
I have to go with the Texans as well. I hate to see Peyton Manning out, but Kerry Collins is okay, but he's not going to be able to be Peyton Manning, and he doesn't have the running game like he did in Tennessee when he went to 13-3. Defense can't. They're made to play from ahead, not behind. Freeney is not going to know what to do when the run comes, and the Texans just have too much offense. They added some defense with some Jonathan Joseph and Daniel Manning, and I just can't go against them on this.
Everybody's talking about the Texans' offense is going to lower the Colts' defense, but everyone forgets the Texans' defense is not very good. Yes, they added Wade Phillips as the defensive coordinator, but I don't think he's gotten these guys in sync yet. They haven't had much time to practice. So I'm going to take the Colts, and I guess it's an upset in this one. I know that they're going to be a little disjointed with Kerry Collins in there, but I look for Joseph Adai to have a big week. I look for the Colts to come out and beat Arian Foster-less Texans.
All right, now we're going to do something new. The last two games, we have a lot of great new members here, and they want to try their hand at Pick 6. So we kicked off Simrath, we kicked off Marshall, we brought in David, and we brought in Ben, in addition to Mike, and they're going to take care of the last two games for us. So let's see what they have to think about, starting with New York Giants at Washington Redskins.
I'm going to have to pick the Giants. I know that Eli hasn't looked that great, and they lost basically 8 out of 11 players on defense, but it's the Redskins. They're still terrible. It doesn't matter who they're playing against. I just have to pick the Giants.
Having spent the last 4 years living in Washington, I can't remember the last time that the Redskins had beaten the Giants. Unfortunately, I don't think Rex Grossman and that Redskins offense can get it done against the Giants defense, which is known to be tough and physical. Plus, Eli Manning has something that none of the Redskins have, a ring on his finger. I'm going with the Giants.
Me personally, I feel that the Giants are way too beat up right now. I love them year in and year out, but I think the Washington Redskins, they promised a boring offense, but one that's going to be consistent this year, and I think we're going to see that come this weekend.
Last but not least, we have possibly the biggest game of the weekend, Dallas at New York Jets on the 10th anniversary of 9/11 in New York City. The atmosphere for this game is going to be incredible, which I personally think will give an edge to the Jets. Let's see if these new guys agree with me here.
I also have to agree. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. It's the anniversary of 9/11. The atmosphere is going to be incredible. Rex Ryan knows that he has emotion on his side. He has Revis, he has Cromartie, and that crazy defense still back. And Sanchez, even though he's throwing to Burris, he's still going to be able to get it done against a weak Cowboys defense.
Jets may have emotion on their side, but when that has happened in the past, especially with Rex Ryan as the coach, they have not been able to deliver. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys over the New York Jets this weekend because I believe Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys offense are well rested and ready to take on the Jets defense.
I'd have to disagree with you right now. I think Tony Romo's had one too many chances, and he hasn't proved himself yet. Maybe save one season. I can't remember when that would be exactly. I'm not a Cowboys fan. But I think in New York, I think the Jets are going to take it this weekend. They deliver a great product every year, and they're always promising Super Bowls, but just coming up short. I think they're going to be too much for the Cowboys this weekend.
Well, there you have it, guys. That's the first episode of Pick 6 for the year. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll have next week's picks for you. Special thanks to all the new guys. You'll be seeing a lot more of them this year. And for Panther Sports Network, I'm Adam Brody.